Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great show lined up for you today, and unfortunately, it is new and extremely damning evidence of Joseph Lubin that appears to be evading and explaining how to evade the SEC as an ICO for Ethereum, talking to investors and potential investors. It is extremely damning, and we have so much other stuff for you to look at today. We just need to go ahead and roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. $2.528 trillion market cap. It's holding its own as it's going into the weekend, but yet it's off by 2.69%. We'll keep an eye on it. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting $61,400 plus. Ethereum back over $4,000 just slightly. Cardano at 216 this morning. It's been holding strong between 211, 216 all week, and XRP has been holding its own at $1.09, $1.10 area. Let's look at the range very quickly here. 109.06 is where we are right now, and 107.99 is the low side of the XRP range, and 112.36 is the high side. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, the numbers are brought to you by Link2.com, private investing made simple. I told you yesterday that I saved some dry powder, and I got some Ripple shares, and I'm very excited about it. And, somebody sent me a message and said, man, it's expensive. It's $42.50. You know what I thought to myself? What would the price of this be if there was no SEC lawsuit? $100? $200? I don't know. But I know one thing. I tend to feel, because we know that everything with Ripple and XRP is completely suppressed because of this lawsuit hanging over their back and their head, that the price of it right now, I assume is really discounted because of that notion. So the truth be told, $42.50 for a Ripple share, understanding what Ripple has done for me, not financial advice, but for me, this is an extremely affordable price right here. And I tell you, there was at least $1 million of this that was available just a day or so ago. And look, we're well below $500,000 left. There's only $400 and some $1,000 left to invest. That's only 12,000 plus shares, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff does not last long. And it's not the only thing that doesn't last long. It's everything else that they have here too. Look at Uphold, right? Look at all the great products they have. Even outside of this sector, you can go into other sectors, Zipline, you go into Impossible Foods. This stuff is doing extremely well on here. But again, I'm focused right now on Ripple today because we are going to level set for you, and then you are going to hear some extremely new and damning evidence. And let me just be clear, I did not start my channel to do this type of thing. The only reason we find ourselves about to talk about and share this information is because we are not getting a fair shake. All we want is a level playing field. That's all we want. A level playing field for all projects, the ones I'm invested in and ones that I'm not, for the entire crypto space. That's the point, right? And right here, you're going to hear Brad Garlinghouse level set for all of us through these 2 points that he makes, and we will get to this new damning evidence. Let's listen to Brad right here.
And look, what we seek more than anything is clarity and certainty. We think the SEC should play by the same rules around disclosures and clarity that we try to.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Hinman gave that famous speech where he declared Ethereum a cryptocurrency, no SEC involvement, Bitcoin obviously. I found out later on that Jay did have some input, pre-publication, pre-speech. What do you think of that?
Well, I think one of the things the SEC has said is that was Bill Hinman's personal opinion.
Right.
Listen very carefully here what Brad says. He articulates this incredibly.
It's hard to feel like there's a lot of activity that suggests that's much more than one person's individual opinion.
Right.
When the SEC comes out and they post a speech on their website, when they reference it in other things, it feels like that's more than that.
It really does. Now let me move you here to the next segment that I want you to hear, which is at this point right here. Listen to this.
Promise not to dodge. But why is the SEC picking winners and losers?
Yeah.
Why is a government entity deciding this is a winning one, which, by the way, happens to have, some pros and cons, massive power consumption, which isn't great for a climate agenda that Gary Gensler cares a lot about, but being silent about other things. And then, one of the challenges right now is Gary Gensler, who has been asked specifically about ETH, hasn't commented.
The ethereum.
But if it's so clear, if the laws are so clear and he's asked a specific question, then just answer the question because it's clear.
Well,
And there it is right there. And that level sets all of us. And I mean, listen, again, I think this case is weighing heavily on Ripple, right? He said in this interview later on, I'm not going to play it for you, that, they don't have any U.S. customers right now because of this lawsuit. Think of the millions, if not billions of dollars that are being lost and suppressed because of this lawsuit, because of the unique advantage that Ethereum was given. What unique advantage are we talking about? Well, I'm going to tell you right here. This is Ripple I. Shout out to you for breaking this. This is from March 31, 2014, Ethereum Joseph Lubin interview. And it is an absolutely must hear. And I'm going to take you right to that. And shout out to Ripple I for this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to perceive this any other way that this is explaining criminal actions. I'm not a lawyer and I'm 12 years short of a law degree, but I think we need two lawyers here. One, to explain to me how this is not criminal. And two, if it is criminal, we need a lawyer for Joseph Lubin because he's in a lot of trouble right here after this statement. I want you to listen to what gets said here. I'm going to set this up. And it is quite damning. I do not mind telling you. And it needs to be not only explained, but it needs to be investigated. And so does the SEC here, because we already understand that Joseph Lubin was consulted by the SEC the entire time that they were drafting the 63 email drafts for the William Hinman speech, which, by the way, ended up being his own personal opinion. Let's take a listen.
Sure everybody has enough advance notice so they can read business plan and make their own decisions, make their preparations, and then we want to make sure that we're not at a conference when the sale is on.
That is absolutely right there. The first point where he says we want to make sure we're not at a conference while the sale is taking place, to not be confused with an ICO. He's looking to evade that appearance right there in that statement. I'm not a lawyer, but that's exactly what I'm hearing here. Let's keep listening.
So we don't want to do two major things at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and then the guy, even now, he responds, the gentleman talking to him, like I got it.
So either before or after.
Okay. Mike.
Will there be a limited valuation up for sale in terms of Bitcoin?
Yeah, Mike's asking, will there be a limit on the amount that a person could invest in Ethereum?
What you're about to hear Joseph Lubin say here is extremely damning. I want to tell you right now, it is extremely damning. I mean, I don't know how you get around this. I really, really don't. And at the very least, I've said this and been calling for this for a long time. There needs to be an independent counsel that is investigating Ethereum's unregistered ICO and the SEC's possible, culpability in this process.
A person can buy from any number of different identities. We may limit the size, the unit size of a sale, just to make it easier to disguise. Let's say if you're a whale and you want...
Just to make it easier to disguise who you are and how much you're getting? Keep listening.
Some privacy. You can buy 50,000 units and so nobody scares people with an enormous initial purchase. So if you are a whale, if you are planning on investing several million US dollars worth, then you can do that for multiple identities.
Multiple identities now. This is what we're talking about. We're being explained to at the time by the co-founder Joseph Lubin for the Ethereum fundraise how you can disguise your identities and use multiple identities and accounts to buy as much of it as you want. But somehow, William Hinman and his personal opinion after 63 email drafts comes up with the conclusion for which he benefits in his private life from, that Ethereum is in fact not a security. This is quite damning, ladies and gentlemen. Keep listening.
We will ask for a real-world identity in the form of email address, just so that we can make sure that everything works smoothly the whole way through the process.
That's nice of him.
Be requiring. So we can create a pseudonymous email and identity and purchasing.
That right there is explaining that you can create a fake email and identity in purchasing. I'm 12 years short of a law degree, but this looks criminal to me. I mean, maybe to the layman, I'm seeing something I shouldn't. But I tell you what, this looks nefarious and absolutely malicious. I don't know where the SEC ties into this, but I tell you what, there really does need to be an independent investigation done on Joseph Lubin, the co-founders, and the SEC during this time. And I tell you this, coming to real time, in the now, right now in this moment, Gary Gensler needs to be a leader and come forward with this information, knowing this information and hearing this, and do something to show that he himself is not complicit at the SEC in allowing this to continue without accountability. Okay, look, it's not just time to get upset. It's not just time to get mad, right? It is time to be very focused and professional. We need to tag our congressmen and women in our district, and this is a time to not be denied. And the only way to not be denied in this world is to be undeniable. And we have to be very focused and professional. We got to use this call as a call to action to not just complain on Twitter. Tag the right people. Tag the right people so we can get attention to this matter and actually get an investigation on this. Let's keep going. Here is some information here where we're going to watch Gary Gensler and more of his vague dodging the question and being evasive and being anything but a leader of the SEC. Listen to this.
Gensler, I appreciate your thoughtful answers and your persistence today. Almost done. You've been very clear in your written and in your verbal testimony that you want to bring crypto into the basic bargain, as you describe it, where investors get to make their own decisions about how much risk they take on, and companies have to report consistent and decision-useful information. You want to bring crypto into that bargain. You've also been clear that you think most of the major crypto players have at least some elements of their businesses that are securities and should operate on that default assumption, and that you'd like each of these crypto actors to be coming to speak with the SEC on a one-on-one basis to get feedback from you, and also, I think from what you've said, to give you feedback on what kind of regulations make sense. I think everything that you've outlined sounds like a reasonable way to approach a nascent, promising industry. I think we're reaching a tipping point, though, where we need more stable, broad-based law that does not require a phone call with the chairman of the SEC, but that a startup with their counsel can understand the risk that they're getting into from a regulatory perspective. And so for that end, we need Congress to act. My question to you first is, would it be most helpful for Congress to create and delineate a new class of security that had a separate regulatory apparatus, or would it be most useful for Congress to divide explicitly crypto assets between the CFTC and the SEC?
Listen to this.
I think actually the laws are pretty clear that with regard to these, and that those entrepreneurs and their lawyers could look, and they don't even have to squint. They can look. The Supreme Court is real.
So they can just look. They don't even have to squint, he says. It's that apparently clear, obviously clear to Gary Gensler. Well, I ask you, Gary Gensler, if we see these obvious rules, is it okay that we do what Joseph Lubin did? Is that okay? That we tell people to create fake identities and accounts under pseudonymous names? Is that what we're supposed to see that's so obviously clear, Gary? I'm asking for a friend. You know, this to me is absolutely incredulous to see this kind of vague, evasive, some half-assed form of leadership from a market regulator. You want me to start buying into your vision, Gary? Start showing us that there's accountability if you create pseudonymous names, fake identities, and accounts to dodge and evade an initial coin offering like Ethereum and Joseph Lubin just explained to all of us from 2014. Again, we've got to contact our local congressmen and women. The only way to not be denied is to be undeniable. Our voice needs to be so loud and so professionally tuned in here, not ignorant, but professionally and ethical. We need to have a collegiate approach to this, right? We got to be really squared away here, but we have to, that's the only way that they can't turn it back against us, right? That we're just a bunch of noisy retail investors. We need accountability here because it is costing us as XRP holders, and it is costing Ripple, the company, and Ripple's customers. This is unacceptable on every level. Now, before we get out of here, we do got to have some kind of positive upside. Again, this is not why I do my channel. I don't want to see anybody get in trouble, but the reality is these are their own words that you're hearing. It's them saying these things. Quite damning. But looking here, Dark Defender tells us a breakout is imminent. And when you look at this chart, you see the triangle here that's coming together, and there is a possible breakout. But what's even more promising is when you look at the relative strength index trend increasing gradually, and you can see right here the uptrend here coming to another potential breakout point. How long it moves sideways, how much longer, I don't know. I'm not a TA guy, but I tell you what, between Coins Kid, Dark Defender, and the many others that we cover here on this channel, we're grateful for all that they share. And it really does look like we have a real moment in front of us that could take us eventually to a new all-time high for XRP. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and more importantly, share this with a representative in your district. Tag everyone. And make sure you check out all the links in the description and the comments section. They are products and services I use each and every day, and they are trusted, vetted links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.